Okay, we are live. Welcome back, you guys. You know what time it is. It is time for the midweek chat, and I got my girl Bree here,
Howdy.
and we got some stuff to talk about. And there goes the notification. Just saw it pop up, so that's good.
Yep, I got it on my end.
And let's see, folks will probably start to stroll in here in a couple seconds.
Yeah, it won't take long. Like usually by within 5 minutes, there's at least 40 people.
I know it's like they all. There's Monique.
First one in. Hi, Monique.
She said
Myra.
two chats in one day. That's because I'm doing the daily recaps.
She working. Duan, Melissa, Black Pink Me.
Welcome back, you guys.
All the soapies.
How many people
We're
we got, girl?
almost at 15 already.
Okay.
That
Hey,
was quick.
Aisha. Hey, Jenny. Blackpink me.
Everybody. Hey, guys.
All right. Are we at 20 yet?
Almost there.
Okay.
Almost there. Medora, hi.
I was thinking about doing a trivia night one night. Not every night or every week, but do some fun stuff.
That would be so much fun. I love trivia.
And I will come up with all of the trivia questions, or we can come up with trivia questions as a panel group, and have some fun and see what everybody know.
Oh, yeah. Definitely some bold trivia. We can definitely do that. Let's see what they really know.
Exactly. So I'm just trying to, as people are probably noticing, I'm trying to do different things on this channel besides the lives and the standalone videos, and the lives with the other panelists like Bree. We need to do some other fun things to keep you guys engaged. I know we talk soaps all the time, but why not have some fun with the soaps?
Oh, yes. Absolutely. Especially since some of these storylines are dragging on.
Exactly. How many we got, girl?
30.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Usually when it hits 20, then I just go ahead and take off. Make sure you guys hit that like button as well. Thank you very much. All right. So, welcome you guys to the midweek chat. For those that just came in, I am T. I got my girl Bree on the line as well. And we are going to kind of catch up. I know a lot of you guys have been listening to the daily recap live, but sometimes you don't want to just hear from me. Bree got lots of opinions. So
I mean,
you gotta hear from Bree too.
I just express myself just like you all. Like it's trust me, I got a lot to say. I usually do. But I try to keep it fun. I try.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into this and start with The Young and the Restless. And, a lot has gone on. The situation with Lily and Victor is happening. A lot of stuff is going on, especially what's today, Wednesday? Most of Tuesday and definitely all day of Wednesday was about Lucy and Sharon.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So at least that breaking this down can be pretty easy because there wasn't too many other things we got to unpack. But I'm going to let Bree open this up by starting to talk about Lily and Victor.
Lily is clinically dumb. She really is. She's just like slow feeding this man all this information, and she can't even be. why don't you ask this man to write up a contract for the information that you're looking for to solidify a position? It's not going to do her any, but I mean, at least look smart enough. She's just like, Victor, I know that, you're a businessman and that you hate Billy. I can't stand Billy, but how about, we go after Chancellor? I want to protect Catherine's legacy, even though I have no family ties to this woman whatsoever. But if you help me, this will help me keep my CEO position over there. And he's like, okay, well, what do you got for me? And she's just slow feeding this man all this information. And then she wants to hold off on the name for the launch of the Billy, whatever Billy closed deal on. She wants to hold that over Victor's head. And I'm like, Victor, you already gave him majority of the information. You don't think he's going to have people put 2 and 2 together? Especially Michael. He ain't got nothing better else to do.
Exactly. And Michael sitting up there like, I don't think that's going to go well when it comes to Lily. I mean, and then he talk about all this respect he have for her and thinking about Neil and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'm sitting up there giving him the side eye like, you lying through your teeth.
It's a bunch of fake concern, because there's been plenty of episodes I can think of where Victor and Neil go head to head when and felt like Neil was stabbing him in the back. Come on now. No.
Yep. And then we got Chance, girl. Chance was like, make me co-CEO over there with Billy at Abbott Chancellor, or I'm walking. And Billy was like, yeah, well, we'll talk about it after the launch. And he was like, no, we're going to talk about this right now. And Billy was like, well, if you need an answer right now, the answer is no. And if you leave, don't think about coming back. And I'm like, his name is on the building, so I don't know if you can oust him permanently. And that's Jill's grandson.
Right. I mean, did he really even want this job? That's what I'm thinking, because after that conversation he had with Summer, I'm like, you never really wanted to be a businessman. You never really wanted to be CEO. And even she was looking at him crazy. So she was like, wait, you just quit like that? I think that's going to make him more unattractive to her in her eyes. Because she loves a businessman. But I was really surprised that he just didn't really fight. If anything, he could have went to Jill and said, like, hey, this is what I presented, and he turned me down. Like, there could have been other ways for him to solidify the position if he really had that business mindset, but I don't think we ever really seen him in that role to take him kind of seriously in that role. We just know he looks good in his suits.
Yeah, but you know what, Bree? We've said this, when did they put him over at Chancellor? When that was the whole thing when Mamie came to town, and they was trying to balance the number of Winters versus the number of Abbotts, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. And they wanted to recruit Chance into this because they felt that it was too many Winters and not enough Abbotts, I guess. And so that's how Chance got in this thing. And our thought process was like, why didn't you just leave him as a cop? He just got that promotion to chief of police, and then he quit and went over to Chancellor.
Exactly, because his mom had him to be on the line of fire, which I can understand. Back in this is the life that he chose. He was in the military, for goodness sakes. He was a detective. This is all he knows. That was his strong suit. And plus, Genoa City doesn't have, who was protecting and serving in Genoa City this whole time?
Exactly. I mean,
there's no cops. No nothing. So he went back to what he did.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that's where he should have just stayed in the first place. It was like, writers, what were you thinking? You took a military man who has been on the side of law enforcement and serving the country for a very long time. Even when it was the other guy that played this, well, it's been several guys that played Chance.
Chance, yep.
He's always been the military police officer type of guy, and then you're gonna pull him from that and put him in the business world only to put him back out there. Yeah, okay. Y'all didn't know what to do with that man. That's fine, man.
Exactly.
That man is attractive too.
And they put him on recurring status. And I wonder if that changed now.
Yeah. Yes, Jenna, we talking about Chance.
Yes, we are. We trying to defend. Because we
Bree, your phone keep cutting.
more of him.
Bree, your phone keep cutting.
Can you hear me?
Your phone keep cutting in and out a little bit.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, we talking about it. We just want to see more of him, but I never took him seriously as a business head. Mm-mm. Like he's not like his grandmother or even his uncle, because what we can say a lot about Billy. Billy was always in a high level position of some sort. Mm-hmm. He always was. Mm-hmm. He just screws up his position, but that's more so his strong suit. He knows how to get into those high executive level positions. Whereas Chance, he just stuck out like a sore thumb. A handsome thumb, but a sore thumb still.
Right, Monique. Yeah, you're correct. Chance took that job because of Jill. Yeah, because Jill wanted to balance out the power in that C-suite. And now that, Devon is gone, and Nate is gone, and Mamie's gone, and so is now Billy, And then Jill, they made her having, an illness right now. I'm like, what y'all doing? But, yeah, I just hope that they do take him off of recurring status, put him back on the police force, and maybe slide him over to Lily.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
I'm hoping so. I hope so.
Mm-hmm. Give him something. Don't just... Because, the way that the spoilers are looking for Young and the Restless for the fall, going into season 52... It looks like Summer is going to be feeling some kind of way about Kyle dating Claire. So you're going to sideline Chance, the very handsome Chance Chancellor. You're going to sideline him to go get involved in trying to uproot whatever this is going on between Claire and Kyle.
Yeah. But are we really surprised? This is why she had that whole custody thing to begin with, because she couldn't really decipher her feelings. I knew it wasn't going to go to court. I knew this was going to have some mediation, and all because she did not want to see this man move on. Mm-hmm. She was struggling with the fact that this man had moved on with other women, or any woman around him was just a problem for her. Mm-hmm. Because she hasn't really, I guess, understood her feelings as to what happened within her marriage. Besides,
Uh-oh. Your phone, girl.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I apologize. It is hurricane season over here.
Uh-oh.
This thunderstorm, so the sound goes out and out. I apologize. But yeah, she's always loved Kyle. That's just never going to change. She's always loved this man.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, let's move on. Because, I heard that Jenna, who is that? Yeah, that Billy hires Phyllis. I've heard rumors about that. I'm wondering, because there's something in it's not tomorrow. It must be on Friday's episode, on the 13th, that there's a proposition or something that Phyllis make to Billy, or an offer or something. So I'm thinking it's got something to do with a job.
I actually think, I'm surprised he hasn't done it sooner, because I thought he was trying to promise her something a couple of months back when they were doing that, or in the process of demerging both companies, and before she was let go.
Yeah, so it's probably, I would think maybe they're going to circle back to that. And you know what? That's going to be interesting because from what I understand, that I've been hearing rumors and the spoiler rumors about Jill coming back. So, because obviously Jill is going to find out that Victor is trying to come for Chancellor. So, of course, she's going to want to try to stop it.
And then I hope she cusses Lily out for even trying to work with Victor to try to go up and underneath her son to try to get Chancellor.
Yeah, yeah,
Jill's not going to like that.
And she's probably going to try to justify it by saying Billy was making bad decisions. He's making bad deals. Chance walked too, and I just worked with Victor to try to save the company. Yeah, I don't think that's going to fly, ma'am, because you're saving the company by giving it to Victor as long as you can keep your job under him, not under Jill. You trying to let this man take the company from not only Billy, but Jill too.
Exactly. And you had all this love and respect for Jill and for Catherine, and you want to hand it literally to the enemy for your own selfish needs because you want to get what you feel you've earned working at that company for a couple of years.
Right.
Instead of just taking your severance check and then going about your way.
Exactly. Exactly. Bree, what did you think about the conversation where we saw Sally and Adam break up? Sally was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm done. And then Connor being upset because they realized the grown-ups are acting kind of different around him and him blaming himself.
I felt that for Connor, but Adam made a very valid point. Whatever happens in their adult lives separately from them being parents has nothing to do with Connor. He shouldn't be playing with himself. So we understand he's a little boy. He's still, trying to process what he's going through. But they kind of just need to just let him know that, hey, we're still your parents, and they did to the best of their abilities. I don't know how this is going to affect Connor later down the line if he's going to try to harm himself. But Adam made a valid point. Like, if there's a breakup or anything that has to do with them romantically outside of them being parents, has absolutely nothing to do with that boy to a certain degree.
I agree. And I don't know why these kids... This is where, I don't know about you, Bree, and I know I've had a lot to say over the past couple of days about these children.
Yeah.
It's one thing if they said, listen, I'm just going to let you know it. And, Billy actually has a conversation with Connor on the Thursday episode, which was nice. He didn't have to do that, but it was nice. But at what point do kids stay out of grown folks' business?
That's what I agree. But that has to be the parents who have to really hone that in.
Exactly.
And if you got parents who are very lackadaisical, they say, on boundaries within, as far as what their kids are allowed to know and what they should know, they're going to want to not necessarily butt in, but feel they're entitled to know what's going on in their parents' lives romantically or like just anything that has to do with adults, they feel that they're entitled to. Like, no, not necessarily.
Right.
Like,
Chelsea tried to she was honest and they taking a break. But he was like, well, I don't see him bringing you flowers anymore. And, he's not doing this for you anymore in the mornings. And I'm like, I get it. You see that happening. But why are you asking your mom about what her and her boyfriend do normally? I just think that that's just a little bit. But like you say, the parents have to set that boundary.
Yeah, and these are some very relaxed
parents.
Like I said, so, like 2024 is a whole new thing. And you can definitely tell a lot of what's going on today is translating onto the show. And there's a lot of entitlement and a lot of these kids snapping back, or like not cussing their parents out, but like being snappy with their parents, and parents are just like, okay, I personally never grew up that way.
Me either.
But have I seen this happen with other parents and other kids? Yes.
Yeah, I just ain't no way. And not like I was saying on my midweek chats, especially when we might as well go into the whole Lucy thing. That girl is out of control. And I mean, that whole thing, now see, I don't know if you got a chance to listen to the midday chat yesterday, but I didn't agree with what happened at the coffee house on Lucy's end, and I don't agree what Sharon did over at the GCAC, with Heather and Phyllis.
Yeah.
So like I was saying about Lucy, first of all, and I'm like, is somebody wrote this on Facebook? I saw this in a whole nother string of conversation. It was like, is there anywhere else you can get coffee? And then you go to the one place that Sharon owns.
I agree. Like, y'all can afford a Keurig coffee maker. Y'all can have it delivered to your door. There is no excuse. Like, that can't be the only coffee shop in that whole city. But I mean, well, and technically it is.
But
there's other ways to get coffee. They can get instant coffee. Actually, go to a grocery store. Make your own coffee. They know. Daniel, of all people, knows that Sharon is triggered.
Correct.
And the fact that he was like, oh, well, the coast is clear. You can go and get your coffee. Like, once again, he's allowing his daughter the ability to, what's the term I'm trying to use? He's allowing his daughter to try to make Sharon feel away in her own space. Like, that's her sanctuary. That's her place of business. Like, she shouldn't have to see, someone that triggers her. But at the same time, they've been going to that place several times before. They shouldn't have to stop their lives every time they see Sharon,
And the thing is, I'm not saying that they have to stay away for forever, but they got to let this situation calm down. It just happened. It's still fresh. You know what I'm saying? And with Sharon already put them on notice. Now, I didn't agree with the fact that she just walked into their house and started telling them what to do. But Daniel agreed not just once, but twice, that maybe they need to just stay away from her. And even Heather was like, oh, is it possible to do that? Blah, blah, blah. Well, we don't have a choice. But then Daniel keep going when they were at society. He walked over to the table. Why can't you just walk onto your own table in your own corner? They walked and stood right over them and talking about hello. And it's like, dude, the girl just left your house. And then you turn around and he knows that it was going to be an uncomfortable situation, which is why he was checking for the coast to be clear.
Yeah.
So why are you tiptoeing? If you were that comfortable, then you would just sashay your butt in there and like, hey, can I get a coffee? No, you know it ain't going to be right. That's why you were checking.
Right. I agree. And maybe that's his guilt that he has to try to work through on his own. And I think he doesn't know what to do in this particular case when it comes to Sharon. I think he's just trying to balance it all out while trying to have a normal life too.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened in that coffee house, granted, I understand Sharon is upset, but she could have been like, look, I need for you guys to leave.
She did.
And she could have, but the stuff that she said to Lucy, she should have just relayed that to the parent, to the adult. It's just not a good look in 2024 for an adult to be shouting and yelling at a child, especially in a public place, regardless of the reason. It just wouldn't be, it's not a good look for Sharon in that manner. And even Nick was like, look, this is not a good look. You shouldn't be doing that.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Go ahead.
Yeah. I understand that she's trying to defend her daughter, but once again, Faith is an adult. And if we saw in today's episode how Faith went over there again, but Faith is an adult. She needed to put 10 toes down and say that, look, you make me feel uncomfortable. You make me feel this way and such and such. She needed to relay that to Lucy. It had to come from her, because when it came from Sharon, and she knows Sharon's erratic, she's gonna be a teenager, and she's also gonna be like, oh, you don't mean that. We're still friends. We're this. Like, I'm gonna reach out to her. I'm gonna do this. You're just giving this girl more of a reason to try to reach out to Faith, versus relaying everything to the parent. Like, look, don't bring your daughter here. Don't keep her away from Faith, and let it be. Direct that conversation directly to the other adult, not to the child.
Well, that's already been done twice with Daniel, and he's an idiot. Because the thing is, if somebody didn't came to your house, they already didn't told you as society, and you still bring your tail over to my place of business. Daniel's an idiot for that. And the thing is, he's also that same idiot to allow his daughter to tell him to back down when he tried to tell her to stop. That doesn't fly. I mean,
Jacqueline.
What happened?
I'm sorry. Jacqueline, I agree. I think she does. I think she has a crush.
Yeah, so that whole thing, because Sharon was originally talking to Faith in her inside voice. And when Faith wanted to become defiant, and when Daniel tried to pull her up out of there, she told him no. And she wanted to stand her ground and act like an adult, stand toe to toe to try to be an adult with another adult. She's a teenager. She's not a child. Then she should know better, because her parents should have taught her better. But this girl is lying. She's being disrespectful. She's being selfish. But look at her pedigree.
Yeah.
She got a long line of terrible people in her DNA.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree.
And so I just don't like, especially what got me is the fact that how she's been so disrespectful to her father and her adopted mom.
I agree with all of that. But once again, that falls on those parents. That the way that she treats them falls on them. They allow that to happen, and they allow her to go into society acting this way. And unfortunately, there's a lot of parents that I see nowadays who have their kids who act the same way, entitled, want to do a lot of pushback, a lot of talking back to adults. And these are the same kids who could be like, oh, well, this adult talked to me this way, and then you got police knocking at your door. There are a lot of instances here in Florida about that. That's why I said it's not a good look for Sharon to do that. Not to say it should not have been said. I agree it should have been said, but directed at the parent. But Daniel, I don't understand. He tries to be stern, but it's like he doing a halfway job about it.
That's because he's afraid to make her feel bad. And instead of it, sometimes, and we've seen this on other shows, these kids, it's gonna be okay, and they coddle to their feelings because the kid don't like the punishment or don't like the consequences and all these different things. And I mean, she's just, you're gonna ruin my life. Let me tell you something. It was so funny, that scene with Daniel. She put her phone on airplane mode, and Daniel called her in, and she coming there talking about what? Girl, if
I,
we would have said that back in the day.
I, the things that this girl, the things that she said that she gotten away with, I am just like
Oh
shocked
no.
and amazed. But at the same time, this is 2024. This is the norm. Sadly, this is the
Man.
norm.
So I used to sometimes I catch my kids. I'd be like, I call them by their name. They'd be like, "What?" And I'd be like, "Excuse me." Yes, mom.
Oh,
Excuse me.
don't do that to T.
Oh, girl, please
Yes.
listen. I've had teenagers before. Now they wasn't like her because they know better.
A
You know,
key thing.
and
Yeah.
sometimes the thing is, they'll send me memes from social media talking my mom, this you. It's so
Aww.
funny because they remember how, but it made them understand consequences, and whatever your choices are, you're gonna reap what you sow, and I'm gonna hold you accountable. But Daniel, it's like he says one thing and he do something different. And of course this girl don't respect him because she sees that. She
I
sees
agree.
him being lenient. She sees him like what we were talking about with the whole thing with the concert. That girl done told a whole ton of lies and you still let her go to the concert. She gonna be like,
And then,
shoot, go ahead, I'm sorry.
oh no, you're good. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And she's like, "Oh my God, Dad, you're ruining my life. Like, what do you want from me? Like, like, I have to do community service. I have to get a job like other people. I have to write a letter. Like, this girl right here,
Mm-hmm.
this girl right here. I honestly feel that she's just spoiled and entitled. And I think she has a bit of a crush on Faith. That's how it came off today's episode for
I
sure.
know, right? Let's talk about that because once Daniel left to go and over to the GCAC because I think he was going for a job interview or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Faith came over there to have a conversation, and she was like, "We have a connection. Don't you see? Don't you think we have a?" I'm like, "Connection."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "What is this?"
I think she has a crush. I think she's always had a crush. And I think maybe a lot of her anger is she's trying to decipher how she's feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But the way she was talking, you would have thought this was like a teenage boy or an older boy.
Right.
This is very similar to the Cassie situation because even Daniel was like trying to tell Cassie at one point, like, look, I don't see that way. And she had a huge heated crush. This is very similar to that. They just kind of remixed it a little bit.
So, do you think that's why she don't understand? I don't. That's a
Yeah.
touchy subject. Um, but I'll agree. A lot of people are saying that in the chat that maybe just because that those words that she was using, it's almost like she was heartbroken, like a breakup.
Yeah, I agree. There's just way too much feeling.
Yeah, it's too much.
And
Yeah, emotional attachment or something.
and the fact that this girl had to drink to try to self-medicate her feelings. I mean, that's some strong feelings, unless it has to be nothing other than romantic,
I mean, the
in my
way
opinion.
I agree because the way that she sounded when she had that conversation with Faith, that's what it seemed like. And Faith was like, I don't, we can't be friends. And, and then you also need to get some help for the drinking. And she was like, your mom got to you, didn't she? And she was like, no, this is me. I'm telling you, that's what you need to do. And she turned her back on that girl, and you can go out and hang out with your other friends. Maybe they're waiting on you or something. She said, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like, because she thinks from what the dialogue that we've gotten on the Lucy character is that she can't find any friends her own age, and I'm like, I think Johnny liked you last summer. Remember? Remember they were making
Yeah.
googly eyes at each other. And then Katie's now in town. I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I actually think that concert thing, I think she probably viewed that as a date.
That's possible.
And then she's trying to make up for it. And I feel like this is romantic on Lucy's side. I honestly felt it was foolish for Faith for one to accept the phone call. I'm like, girl,
Mm-hmm.
you could have talked. You could have said this all through a phone and kids video chat. Now you could have video called this girl.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't need to drive over there and go over there. But I mean, if it was effective and you made your point clear, then then fine, that's fine. But it definitely showcased that this girl has feelings for Faith without
Right.
question.
Exactly. It's something with that. I'm curious to find out what direction they're going to take this because switching back over to Sharon, when she was having her little hallucination after kissing Nicholas in her dreams and seeing Cassie in her dreams, and she had this whole fantasy that her and Nick was still married and Cassie was married to an athlete and all this stuff. Then Cameron Kirsten, she told him that she wished Daniel was the one that was unalived versus her daughter.
Cassie. Yeah. This is not going to go. Something told me something's about to happen to either Lucy or Daniel
Mm-hmm.
at the hands of Sharon because people refuse to speak with her doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that they were trying to be a little bit smart. They were trying to see, like, oh, let's see if she's been taking her pills or something. I'm like, you guys could have had Faith do this. You didn't need to get Mariah. Mariah don't even live over there.
Yeah. Now let's switch gears a little bit with that because Nick and Mariah put together this whole plan for Mariah to go over there and check to see if she'd been taking her medicine. But by the time she got back to Crimson Light, she said that Sharon has. Now, when I did the midday chat, a lot of people said that she was lying. Did you see that?
I honestly thought she was lying because she saw the ibuprofen. Wasn't the ibuprofen or Tylenol or something like that?
Right? I
A
saw
full
that.
bottle.
Yeah, but I don't get that part. Why, if they're worried about her so much, why would she lie about that? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Unless Mariah wants to pull a Steffy and want to try to save the day instead of getting the proper help this woman needs. Like, why lie about the pills?
Yeah,
That was
that
the whole
doesn't make
mission.
sense. I thought I missed something. Because I know after she saw the ibuprofen, she went upstairs to check the medicine cabinet, and so that's when I said, well, maybe she came back and she saw that the pills, she was taking them when she went to look at the medicine cabinet, because that's what I thought. But a lot of people was like, no, she lied.
And that's my other thing too. Like, as much as these kids are around Sharon, like hovering over her, they haven't witnessed her taking her medication. They don't even know what the pill looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I wish they would just wrap this story up. I mean,
Yeah.
let's not draw this out into November sweeps, okay? I mean, it was one thing when it was pretty interesting with the Ashley story. I mean, it kept us laughing. I mean, because she did the three different personalities and stuff like that. But this right here, it's just like,
It's a bit different. It's a bit dark.
it is dark. And especially when you got Cameron Kirsten walking around still with the bloody shirt on.
For how many months now? It feels like months. I'm not gonna lie to you. What, 2 months now?
Something like that when she started seeing this man. I think it was like in July, maybe. So yeah, about 2 months.
And I'm just disappointed with the people around her. As soon as she told Faith, okay, I'm seeing Cameron Kirsten and I've been talking to him, you would think, okay, we need to call somebody from Fairview. We need to call Taylor Forrester, call call her doctor, call anybody.
Mm-hmm.
This is not okay. And Mariah keeps talking about like, oh, I'll take the workload off and we'll send you on vacation. Like, girl, this is a horrible operation that they're try to help Sharon. Nobody's really helping this woman except helping her issues and helping her like make up stuff in her head and have all these outbursts, especially what she did to Heather. Heather got way more control than I do.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm surprised at Phyllis because Phyllis could have went there with
Ooh.
her.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she could have. She had a lot of restraint. I was very proud of Phyllis.
Girl, did you see Nicholas though? Because Nicholas went straight to accusatory, like, "What did you do?" And she was like, "Hold on,
yeah,
I held it together. Let me tell you what happened first."
But he knows that she's a hothead. He knows that she would have fired right back.
Mm-hmm.
But she kept it together. She was calm. Everything. But once again, this woman is having outbursts. She's popping off at the mouth at people, and people are just like, "Oh, well, she's unstable. We got to be careful." No, get this woman some help and get her pills. Get her meds.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly, Jan. Nick said, "What did you do?"
Don't worry about what I'm doing. What are you doing to help her?
And that's what she said. She said she told Nick, "You need to go get your ex-wife."
Cheryl said call Alan.
Huh?
Cheryl Hines said she needs to call Alan.
She need to call somebody. But if it was up to Phyllis, Phyllis told Nicholas she need to go to Fairview. She want that girl committed.
I honestly do too. They'll be able to keep an eye on her. They will definitely give her medication, and they'll be able to have therapists on cue to try to decipher what's going on with this woman. And then we probably will stop seeing Cameron Kirsten for another couple months. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because Sharon had no right. They wasn't bothering her. She was having a lunch. They were getting ready to leave, and Sharon ran straight over there and started talking crazy to them. Get your food or go to the bar or whatever you're about to do and leave them alone. They wasn't bothering her.
Exactly. I agree. And I'm glad and I'm happy that Phyllis at least acknowledged that she has a grandbaby.
Yeah, now she does.
But we have yet to see her in a scene with her grandchild.
Exactly. Much as she was around Harrison, you would think she would be a lot more around Lucy.
And that's the person who needs to get around Lucy and rein her in. And I think I was saying that in the group chat. Phyllis should be able to get Lucy together because Lucy won't be able to really pop off and fly off in the mouth with Phyllis.
Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe that's why maybe it's Lucy trying to stay clear of Phyllis.
And the fact that Danny was like, "You need to stay out of it, Mom." I'm like, no, you need somebody like your mama to help your daughter because it's not you.
Mm-hmm. That is hilarious. And then I think we also had Kyle I think Kyle was the one that called that in about Audra, by the way. That's that corner scene.
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm. Kyle want her gone. He want to run Glissade by himself, but you're still working with Victor. You'll never have autonomy as long as Victor's behind the scenes.
I agree with that. And I think low-key, I don't think Nate wants Audra over Glissade either. Because he purposefully let that almost slip out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that Kyle is circling around, trying to get rid of Audra. And the fact that he almost tried to feed that little information to him. Mm-hmm. I think he wants to try to get Audra from out of Victor's thumb. I think he's trying to play hero low key.
Girl, you remember that scene at the Jazz Lounge when Nate said it with his whole chest to Devon about we're seeing each other? I'm like, dude, really?
And she's like, we're not serious. I don't have a boyfriend. My primary focus is Glissade. We're just friends, and that's it. And the look on Nate's face, I'm like, how many times is this girl going to tell you? And she just told Devon, like, look, I don't see anything serious with you. We're just fun, and that's it.
Girl, somebody go help Nate. Go get him, Bree. Because obviously his nose is wide open
Mm-hmm.
for Audra. That's why I'm like, you know what? You sitting up there talking about how people gonna get burnt. You gonna get burnt too.
Yep. And let's hope it's the safe way.
Yeah.
Because you don't. Because she don't have a man. She could be in and out of town, in and out the country. You don't know who she's with.
I still want her with Adam. Now that Adam is free and single. You know, I don't want Chelsea to get with Adam. Please, let's not go down that road again. Move Audra over to Adam. I'm going to try to speak that into existence.
I'm hoping so too, especially since she's claiming that she doesn't have a man, so that means she is single as a dollar bill. Mm-hmm. So there's no excuse not to put those two together. So let's hope they listen to the podcast. And I mean, Adam was looking really good at not Crimson Lights, at Society. Right. He was looking woof. Melissa. Put him with Audra. She'll commit to that man and to that family.
Mm-hmm. Sure would. Melissa says, what about Nate for Brooke on Bold? Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, Melissa. I don't know. Can I see Brooke with Nate?
Oh, there's so many things I could say right now. Keep it PG, but hasn't everybody had Brooke at this point?
I don't even know of anybody that I could see over from Young and the Restless that would be Jack? Yeah, I guess.
Jack would be perfect for her. He going to simp. So, and that's a requirement to get with a Logan. Mm-hmm. And he's wealthy. He's a billionaire. So she'll kind of get a mix of Ridge and Bill and Jack.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I just want Audra with Adam.
We're going to leave Nate alone. I can't believe, why would you want to punish Nate by giving him to Brooke? I would love Nate and Steffy to get together.
Nate and Steffy. What about Chance and Steffy?
Oh, that would be. Now that would get Finn to always stay on his P's and his Q's. Yeah, without question.
Yeah, put Chance with Steffy.
Yeah,
we have to see about that.
And we're not going to put Hope with nobody. We're going to just give her a mirror, and she'll be okay.
If I had to put Hope with anybody on Young and the Restless,
Kyle.
Maybe Kyle. Maybe. That's about it.
I mean, you know what? That's actually not too far off, because Hope and Summer are pretty much the same person. They both. Think about it. They both were brought into the world because of affairs. They should be around the same age. They both adopted someone else's child and raised them as their own. They both happen to have raising boys. And both of them can be self-centered. Mm-hmm. I think that wouldn't be too far off, to be honest.
LaShanta said Chance is boring.
But okay, that's the writer's fault. But he ain't boring to look at.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm trying to make sure we covered everything in the last 3 days. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, for the most part, it was all about Sharon for majority
for 2 days, right? All right, let's move over to Bold. And how many people we got in the chat?
We got 92 people in the chat, guys.
Okay, and how many likes can you see?
And we have 47 likes.
All right, let's get them likes up, you guys. Before we move into Bold, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, follow on all of the other social media platforms, and yeah, we got some stuff to talk about on Bold. There was some very interesting moments that I liked, and some very interesting conversations that I liked. And then somebody is still on Delulu Island. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about these conversations. The first one that I liked is, well, they didn't have a conversation, which something is off with the spoilers, because there was some spoilers that came out for either yesterday or today that had said that Finn was going to try to convince Lee to rebuild her relationship with Poppy. Now, unless that's going to happen tomorrow or Friday, I haven't seen that. And then at the same time, it looked like Lee and Poppy are already doing that.
Off screen.
Exactly.
Because I don't think Lee would have offered Poppy a place to stay unless they had worked things out already.
Exactly.
And plus, Lee and Poppy have been attached at the hip. If anything, he could have said that when they showed up to his house.
Exactly. That's why I'm like, when that happened on Monday, and so when I seen them come into the house together, and she was trying to be a support system for Poppy as she apologized to Ridge and Taylor and to Steffy and Finn. I'm like, okay, so what's up with that spoiler that's supposed to be coming up where Finn is trying to convince his mom to repair the relationship? So I don't know.
Yeah.
We still got Thursday and Friday. I don't know what that spoiler meant, but it was weird because it looked like they already are doing that off camera.
And actually, Poppy said that. Like, she said, out of all of this, I was able to repair my relationship with my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And we're closer. And I need to be with my family. So I feel like they've been doing the work off screen, which sucks because I would love to have seen that.
Mm-hmm. So let me see if I can find that spoiler, because that was weird.
Some of the spoilers just don't make any sense.
No,
when we
it
see
does
it on
not.
screen.
Okay, it's supposed to. When is the 12th? Tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's the spoiler for September 12th that said Finn encourages Lee to reconcile with Poppy. So maybe we'll get to see what that means tomorrow. But I'm like, they look like they're already doing that.
Yeah, and look at the picture at the top left.
Exactly.
Like she didn't say not one word. She gave facial expressions, soft ones, but she was there for her sister, rubbing her back and holding her hand and everything. So, I mean, I'm confused.
Yeah, but I like seeing that though, because Lee has been, at odds with Poppy for a very long time, and unfortunately, it took the loss of and not loss in that way, but she's off in prison somewhere, the loss of a niece and a daughter to bring these two together.
Yeah, Nozawa Power. I mean, I don't get that spoiler. They seem to be doing just fine, and I can't remember what spoiler they had. They just throw stuff out there to see what sticks or see like what people are going to run with. But like when we watched the result, I'm like, none of that happened. Didn't they say that Finn was going to put his foot down about Steffy leaving the house or something like that?
Yeah,
too?
it's all types of things that, and I try. That's why I am very cautious. I know sometimes I see things, I'm like, oh my gosh. And then you have to kind of fact check things, because a lot of you got folks that do sensationalizing the false things. and it get people all up in arms. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole thing when Xander was supposed to come back and he didn't. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know, but anyway, I do like the fact that look like Lee and Poppy are bonding, at least from the Monday's episode, and then it takes us onto the conversation that Poppy had with Bill. The crazy thing is, and I don't know if you guys, and I know Bree, you caught it because you've been saying this for months. And when I
Hmm.
heard this, I'm like, Bree was saying this all the time,
Yeah.
where Poppy was telling Bill how much she loves this man, and he never said it back. And at the same time, the conversation between Bill and Katie, he easily said that he loved Katie.
Yep. Hasn't been with Katie in years,
Correct.
but he was able to fuster that up and say like, "Oh, Katie, you're amazing. I always love you. I love you." But here's Poppy pouring her heart out, trying to show her gratitude and saying like, "I don't know what it is about you, but I feel like I love you more." And he just looking, just staring at her. And this is why I say he was more so happy with the fact that he got to be a dad again, or I guess in some sort of way he got to kind of make up for being a dad. But more importantly, he felt like he had a daughter. He has
Mm-hmm.
nothing but boys. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe that meant something to him. And oh, he happened to be dating his daughter's mother. So
Right.
he had no real feelings for Poppy. He just happened to take her in because that came with his daughter, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
He was never in love with this woman,
Nope.
ever.
But who was that? It was either you or maybe it was Keish in the group chat that was saying how this originally started was Bill chasing her. And then they flipped it where it was more of her being expressive about how she feel, because originally she was kind of hesitant, and he was
Yeah.
like, she was dancing at Irgidino and he got all these stars in his eyes and stuff. Remember all that back in
Yeah.
February, January? you
She
know Go
she
ahead.
pretended like she didn't notice, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden we got like what, a couple weeks later they're on a date, and I'm like, how did that happen?
Exactly.
I think both me and Keith were saying the same thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it was all of a sudden they started dating, and then all of a sudden when she saw that yacht, she's like, "Oh my God, I always loved you. You're the man
Yeah.
of my dreams."
I gotta say, I like the hairstyle that Romy Park had. That's how we used to wear our hair back in the day, with the two French braids on the side.
Hmm.
Remember that, Brie?
Yeah, and it actually frames her face. She's a very pretty woman. Um, I like that look. I actually like more updos.
Yeah.
I like Steffy and Brooke with an updo, but
Mm-hmm.
just I always felt, especially when this woman got arrested, that really solidified it to me, because when it's a woman that he loves, he'll get his lawyers, he contact the police department, the chief of police, the FBI, whoever he loves, he will get to the bottom of it. He would not have let that woman sit in jail. He would have
Right.
posted bond, anything. If it was Katie, he would have went above and beyond.
Yeah, she sat in that prison for a couple of weeks when Luna was doing her dirty work and all that, and because Bill got a lot of resources. He could have
Exactly.
easily talked to a judge, pulled some strings. He didn't do nothing. He just left her there.
He said he wanted to be there for Luna
Right.
and make sure she was taken care of. That's why I keep saying he was more concerned about having his daughter, quote unquote, than the mother.
Right.
It had nothing to do with Poppy. But when he gets around Katie, I love you. I always loved you. You're the best thing since sliced bread. You're like, come
Oh,
on.
right. And then we got that conversation with a matchmaker who don't want to be a matchmaker, but he's matchmaking. Will. Will was like,
I,
go ahead, girl.
I was going to say, like, I was surprised by the things this man had said. He
Hmm.
was like, well, we had a happy family until you screwed it up. I'm
That's
like,
what
oh,
I'm saying. These are key. I mean, Listen, I'm way overgrown, and my mom is 74 years old, 73 years old. There is no way my mom or my dad, I'm gonna go and you screwed it up. They're gonna be like, what you say?
Yeah. Once again, it's 2024. These kids are entitled.
I
They say
mean,
whatever they feel like. I mean, look at how Luna was acting.
oof, girl. I mean, when he was sitting up there talking to his parents, especially talking to Bill, I'm like, y'all try to act like y'all as grown as they are.
And then this is the same boy who walked into his daddy's bedroom
I
while
know.
he was and then in cops a fit. Like, this is without knocking, without, respecting boundaries. These kids do not care.
Nope. Not at all. Not at all. They say what they want to say. And them parents, see, like you said earlier, Bree, about Daniel. These parents are
Yeah.
just letting them. Ain't no way I could talk like that. No way. And my kids know that too.
Yeah.
I don't care how old you get, because I think he's supposed to be like 19. I don't care how old you get. What you say? Who you talking to?
There's a certain respect level, and even Katie didn't correct him. She's like, and she's like, well, I'm not heartbroken. I'm not, it is what it is.
Ugh.
But she liked the fact that her son was standing up to Bill like that. She liked that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bill was not caving, but I think he always felt this way. He always loved Katie. He had no problem listening to her. And that was the other thing too. When Katie was making all those accusations to Bill, if it was anybody else, he would have shut it down. He would have cussed him out, or whatever the case was. When it's Katie, like, oh, well, she's just looking out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's okay. It's okay that she's accused you. I believe you, but I mean, she's going to do that. I knew it. I was like, this man don't love Poppy.
Mm-mm.
He loves the sex that that she's given to him, but that's about it.
Yeah, he don't love that woman. I mean, if you can quickly tell your ex that you still love them, and your current girlfriend, she's telling you, I love you, Bill, and he looking like,
He is a deer in headlights. He just stares. There's crickets.
It's crickets.
Like when you did your reviews, like some of your reviews, you had the crickets. That's exactly what goes on in that man's head every time he hears her say, I love you.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? I'm glad she was also the one to take that step back and say, you know what, I'm going. Because she could have tried to played it like, shoot, I'm staying in this house. But she's being the opposite of the narrative. And she was like, I'm just going to go stay with my sister.
Yep.
And that's cool.
Which wouldn't have happened if they didn't get along.
Right. Exactly. Because I don't think Lee would have been like, oh, I don't want you in my house, blah, blah, blah. You know the trouble that you caused. You know the old stuff Lee used to say. But obviously they're getting along. So she gave her a place to stay. All right. Another conversation that was to be had is the one with Finn and Little Puke.
This man got nothing better else to do. Why is he always at this man's job? Put Liam on the hospital payroll at this point.
Somebody said that in my chat earlier. Somebody said that when he filed his taxes, he needed to use Forrester as a way to file his taxes because he always up there too.
Yeah, Forrester full-time and then the hospital part-time. Either which way he can collect some W-2s. I have never seen a man show up to another man or other people's jobs as much as him. And to really just talk about nothing. He could have said a thank you text. He didn't need to make a whole statement to this man.
Well, let's talk about that statement, Bree, because Liam pretty much chopped him off at the knees. He told him, of course I'm going to be there for my wife. I'm going to protect her. And I'm going to be the person that she needs to be because he was being committed. There was nothing. Did you see that funny look that Liam had on his face? Like, well, I guess I can't say that.
And before that, Liam was like, if something ever happened to Steffy, I feel like I have to step up. Who told you that?
Exactly.
Who told you that? See, this is why he loves saving women. And Phyllis was right about that with Nick, too. This is the same thing that applies to Liam. They both love saving women.
Mm-hmm. You know, and that man been single for a while. I honestly think they need to put Sally back over here and let him finish that off with her.
Yeah. Or, like, I honestly, it would be a dream. As much as, like, Liam, like, was, like, coming down on Finn about Sheila. If one of Sheila's kids were just to pop up on the scene and Liam doesn't know about it, they hook up and he finds out it's one of Sheila's daughters, like, that would be very interesting to see. And then he starts to fall for Finn's sister, Sheila's daughter.
They need to give him something, because right now Liam has no storyline except interloping. That's it.
I mean, it seems like he's the one on recurring status.
Exactly.
He's no different from Chance right now.
Pretty much.
They don't know what to do with this man. This man is like popped up and shown up on everybody else's job, and it's a running joke with Steffy, because even she was trying to make actually both Hope and Steffy were trying to make excuses for him. He's like, well, we can pretend like this is for Spencer Publications,
right?
It pointless. This conversation was pointless. I
don't even understand. Even with this situation that's going on with Hope, and she keep getting rejected, and she's pining after a man that don't want her. You got Liam floating around with nobody. It's just like, what y'all doing? And I understand these folks have been in triangles for a decade, so we don't want to go back there. But do something. And I do know that, you know, Hope got a storyline coming up with this quote unquote new man. Okay, but give Scott Clifton something.
Yeah, get him a job. Get him a place for him to go to work to instead of going to other people's jobs. And granted, there's nothing wrong with him thanking Finn for saving the mother of his child.
Right.
But that's what he's been doing. He has a bullet wound showing that he has no problem saving his wife. That is his job.
Well,
even though she puts herself in those positions.
What if they keep Romy Park around, and put her, Poppy, with Liam?
I can't see that.
You can't see that either. I'm trying to figure out something. Who ain't no other available ladies? Because Hope don't want them back. Steffy is Team Finn. So what else are you gonna do with Liam? If you're gonna give him a storyline, what are you gonna do? Take over his daddy's company? He already tried that. It didn't work.
Yeah, that's when Sally was on the scene.
Exactly.
And he had no problem, once again, rescuing a whole other woman while he had a woman. Since we saw pictures, Bridget is coming back. We don't know how long she's coming back, but that's another Logan he hasn't had yet. But even though I want her with Finn, because they had chemistry when she was on last December, but it would be a very interesting storylines. Producers, Bradley Bell, writers, if you guys are listening, bring back one of Sheila's kids, one of Sheila's daughters, and they have he could be at a bar drunk and depressed, he's so lonely or whatever the case is, and he ends up hooking up with Sheila's daughter.
They could have did something with Ivy if they had played that right, but she was only here for a day and a half, and Steffi snatched him out of that situation.
Which that made her look so jealous and stupid.
Yeah, dumb.
Yeah, and Ivy was beautiful. That we would have been perfectly fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, Steffi hasn't been with Liam in how many years? Like, it would have made more sense if maybe Hope was starting to get jealous about Ivy. But at the same time, give him a woman that, something new, something fresh. I'm
Right.
perfectly fine with that. But I want it to be more spicy. Like, it needs to be one of Sheila's daughters. And then he hooks up with her and then finds out that the girl was pregnant. And then and Sheila finds out she has another grandbaby on the way and that she's going to be terrorizing Liam and Bill. Writers, I'm trying to help you guys out. That
You
would be
so
fun to
funny.
watch.
Girl, that is
Loppy.
hilarious. Loppy.
Loppy.
Liam and Poppy. Loppy. Cheryl Hines came up with Loppy. Um,
Oh, well.
so we do have the party that they did for Steph, welcoming her back, even though it was kind of awkward because so it just seemed like besides Eric and Eric Taylor and Ridge, there was this whole fakeness going on.
Yes, there was. Especially coming from Donna and Brooke. Like, oh my God, Steffi, you look great. You would never think that you were kidnapped. Like, come on. Like, your body, like your hair, like this was so fake. I would be like, no, we don't get along. You do not care for me like that. Like thank you for acknowledging that I'm here. Like that. Let's get moving. I do not like that.
Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. And then you got Hope bouncing around there looking at folks. Brooke is trying to tell her to leave him alone. Don't bother him. He's with his wife, and she just had. I don't understand after everything that has happened. Hope goes in the space. And I granted she was like, I'm glad that you were able to be there for Steffi and all that, but I'm surprised that Finn was actually there entertaining that conversation.
Right. Like, didn't this woman pull you to the side in the same house, in the same area?
Mm-hmm.
With your wife? Where was Steffi at?
She was back there with her parents about a fireplace.
Like, this right here, just the nerve of this girl. Like, okay, it's one thing to, say, like, oh, we're grateful for Steffi to be alive. Like, that's fine. But she, of all people, knows she should not go up to that man.
Right.
She can't help herself.
And he should have, granted, he kind of, he didn't engage, like, hold, shake her hand or give her a hug or anything. But just the fact that he was standing there. Right. He started smiling. I'm like, yeah, okay, Finn. Just keep it up. And then,
exactly.
And then we see Hope down there looking at them all like, oh, I wish that was me.
It could have been you if you flew to Paris.
Right.
And got the man that actually wanted you and only you, and still does. But once again, she likes what's unattainable. And I think that was a whole attraction that she had with Liam to begin with. Because she likes to use this good girl act as a form of manipulation. Same way Brooke used her sexuality, she uses this whole good girl act as a form of manipulation to try to get the men that she wants. That's how she always was she always had Liam. She always used that.
Yeah.
And when she got with Thomas, she didn't have to use that anymore. She started to feel, as she kept on saying, like more like herself.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about all of this is that she could have had exactly that. And them two are married. You had a man that got on one knee, made your little dinner dress and everything. And granted, like I said, we've had this conversation. She didn't have to get married and he didn't have to wait around. But if you want what Steffi and Finn has, you had an opportunity for that. You had great sex. The man worshiped the ground you walked on. Would have gave you the world. Y'all got a whole son together. And you was like, no, I don't want to marry you. we can just be bed buddies, friends with benefits, or whatever the situation is. But that relationship that she's oogling, or the type of relationship, she could have had that 6 months ago.
Oh, better yet, she had that with her husband, but she
That's
chose
true.
to step outside of her marriage for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason.
And she used his old behavior as an excuse, because the last 2 years prior to her, doing this whole thing with Thomas, he wasn't doing anything.
And she took him back after that paternity scandal, too.
Exactly.
So he was on his best behavior. He was all about his wife, and she was all for it. She just needs to be woman enough and say, like, you know what? I was bored in my marriage. I was fantasizing about Thomas. We were in another country, and I had took a chance on it. I wasn't expecting Liam to watch me or catch me, but since he's seen it, let me go ahead and take a chance and see what it's like to be with Thomas. Like she needs to learn to justify her actions and her feelings instead of like being so jealous and pressed about what Steffy has. Like you had that. Mm-hmm. You had two men that were all for you. Liam was all for Hope. Wasn't even thinking about Steffy. Mm-hmm. And then she had Thomas, who was all for her for over a decade.
Mm-hmm. As they say, she fumbled the bag.
Mm-hmm. That man proposed to her, what, how many times?
3.
He had 12 rings. One for every month.
Listen, and then, you sitting over there talking about, man, I wish I had somebody that want me like Finn wants Steffy. And it's like, girl, you had it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, moving on. Also at that party was the conversation that between Steffy, RJ, Zende, and Brooke. And I was, like I said yesterday on the midday chat, writers, bravo. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yes. This needed to happen.
Yep. Reconciliation and, vindication. He's vindicated. And there are people that are still trying to hang him for, well, no, let me change the word. They're still trying to hold him to that.
Accountable.
Yeah, they're trying to hold him to that time period for whatever reason that they wanted to,
Even though they stated in the writing that she knew that Luna knew exactly what she was doing. She wasn't impaired when she got with Zende. Mm-hmm. She got the man that she wanted that night, but she played it off perfectly. She said it herself, and even Steffy repeated that back in the writing. I don't understand why they want to blame this man so bad. So Luna is off scot-free from all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently. But Zende is still held by his hair. Like, it makes no sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's just like, I'm glad that we were able to see that. Brooke apologized because she wanted to send that man to Forster, Antarctica. There was a whole fist fight between RJ and Zende, and they hugged it out as well. So, and I'm glad the way Steffi handled it. She didn't put all that out there to the entire party. She pulled them aside and had that conversation. Because everybody did not know about that, what happened with Zende.
Yeah. Yep. That was very respectful. I appreciate Steffi for doing it, and that needed to happen. I'm glad that she pulled in Brooke in that conversation too, because she needed to hear that. And LaShanta, you are correct. Brooke apologizes Zende that she was out of order to judge anybody. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Of all people. And now, granted, when she was doing the apology, it didn't sound like it was genuine. Once again, it was still like she was still sounding a little bit fake to me. She was like, oh, well, I mean, I was defending my son, and, it is what it is. It was just very relaxed when she said it. But the fact that she hugged him, I was like, okay. Finally, we got that vindication from Brooke. And then RJ turned around and he's like, look, I apologize. And he got his cousin back. Finally, we thought this was all squared away. We don't have to worry about it. But people were still mad at that.
Yeah, I know. They trying to hold him to this thing. And it's like, because there are people that are saying, well, that still was his cousin. He knew that was his cousin's girlfriend, whether she was trying to trap him or not. Um, how long y'all been watching the soaps?
Yeah.
I
Because there's
mean,
plenty of examples.
across both shows. Maybe I don't watch GH Days, Guiding Light. I can guarantee you there was probably somebody sleeping with somebody's boyfriend or girlfriend on those shows.
At that party.
Right.
Like there's two I can think of right now that was at the party. But once again, it might be a trivia question. But this, like, the fact that they still want, and people are entitled to their opinions, that's fine.
Right.
I just don't understand. I just wish I could understand where they're coming from if in the writing they vindicated this man.
Right.
And the people that really came down hard on that man apologized and hugged it out. Like, you would think that would just make peace of it, but people, I mean, it is what it is. It's sad, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm glad they worked this out. So then we got 3 last conversations. We had the conversation the next day, which is in today's episode, between Hope and her mom, Taylor and Steffy, and then Taylor and Brooke, and Steffy and Hope. Was 4 conversations. So where you want to go in all of that? I guess they all kind of lead into each other with the same things they have to say, because it looked like Brooke was trying to butter up Taylor and Hope was trying to butter up Steffi.
I guess we can go to the one with Taylor first. But there's a question by Kit Kat said, "TM, did you know Sheila is grandmother to Lucy Roman?" Oh yeah, we talk about those genetics all the time. Both Phyllis and Sheila have the same grandchild.
Yep, and Terrible Tom is the grandfather.
Ooh-wee. But we can get to Taylor. I don't understand where Brooke is coming from. If she's so concerned about her daughter having feelings for Finn, wouldn't she warn more people? I don't know why she's trying to keep that so close to the chest. Like, even Taylor has noticed it. And her being fake nice, a lot of the logos are doing this fake nice thing. I don't like this, but like, Taylor has known you for over 30-something years. She knows your actions. She knows your kids' actions. She can see that there's something going on. And she just put her on notice. Like, look, you need to make sure your daughter stays away from my daughter's husband. Mm-hmm. And it's as simple as that. I don't know why Brooke acts so offended. Like how dare you say that? You've been telling your own daughter that.
For months. I mean, that's the other thing. Because when she get around Ridge or even in these conversations with Taylor, it's like, you know, as if she's acting brand new, or, oh my God, yeah, I'm just finding out this. You've been knowing that this girl has been fiending for Finn since June, May?
Yeah. Long enough. And having fantasies and talking about want to drop Steffi down to size, like, just... And and on top of that, Brooke keeps bringing it up. I think Keith said that in the group chat. Brooke keeps bringing it up. Mm-hmm. Like, why are you reminding this girl about whatever feelings she has for Finn? Because I don't even think they're genuine feelings. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think he's a placeholder. And the man was giving her compliments at one point. He was a placeholder. And I honestly feel if Thomas were to come back, she wouldn't even be thinking about Finn.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Because when Thomas was in town, Finn wasn't even a thought to her. She wasn't even around that man. Mm-hmm. She was all about Thomas.
Yep.
And crying about her feelings. Like, oh my God, I'm still trying to process getting over Thomas. Like, see, Finn was always a placeholder. She has no real feelings for this man.
Yeah, well, she continued because I think she's supposed to make one more play towards Finn. I mean, I think that's what I heard. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. So I'll call that a rumor versus a spoiler. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll have to see. But I do know that her line might be on the chopping block, though.
Well, it should have been. We saw that scene where Hope was even picking out jewelry for Brooke's bedroom. It wasn't even for her own line. It was for her mom's
Right.
line. Like, girl, you might as well be a woman and just say, like, you know what, it's not working. I had this line when I was fresh out of high school, and the message is not even the same anymore. Like, I got 2 kids. I've gone through some divorces. I need to revamp and try to think of a different line and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like trying to plead with Steffi and plead with Rich and Eric and all these other people and asking your mama to save you in your line. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not worth saving anymore.
Yeah, not at this point. I mean, at obviously, if they keep, saying, no, we don't want to take any orders, or we don't want to do anything, or we don't, they're not even searching for her line on the internet. That's not a good sign.
And they're returning the clothes back.
Right.
Exactly. And on top of that, all the clothes were ugly.
Crazy. Yeah, but I gotta say, Steffi, she was like, listen, girl, don't try to butter me up. Don't play with me. I'm telling you, you need to get them numbers up on Hope for the Future. And then, she was like, well, we are glad that, we have you back. I'm truly glad that you're okay. And I know it had to be a hard experience. And Steffi looking at her like, why are you talking to me right now?
With this fake concern, the Logans have been just faking it this whole week so far.
Yeah, I just, I just want this to be over with. Can we give Annika something else? She was the star of the show in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she rocked out. Get this girl some good material where she's not chasing Finn around and running into a brick wall.
And that's the thing with the Hope character. She really isn't much of anything without a man. Because think about it. She was always chasing Liam.
Mm-hmm.
And when Thomas was all over her, that even amplified her character a lot, times 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then he left. And now she has gone to the point where she's trying to go after somebody else's man, which is completely, quote unquote, out of her character. And she keeps saying that she's not a homewrecker. So even she knows that she's not really she's not all that interesting without a dude in her life.
Yeah. It was nice to see Deacon show up at the party, by the way. And when he brought up, I know how y'all feel about my wife. And I'm thinking to myself, Steffi don't have to like Sheila. Don't even have to talk to her. But in my opinion, I don't know what you think about this, Bree. I think Steffi should have said, tell her, I don't know, I'm sorry. I know I accused her of being the one that did this, and it was Luna. She was just roll her eyes like, oh, here we go with Sheila. I'm like, you threw that girl in jail because you thought it was her, and you ran smack dab into the real perpetrator.
Yeah, I mean, she even called the police Baker, and she went through above and beyond and said, like, it's Sheila for several episodes. I agree, but we can't expect for Steffi to take accountability. She put herself in that position again with Luna, same way she put herself in the position in the alley as well, which I understand is debatable, but she's never going to be one to be taking accountability. We can't expect too much from her.
I know, because he was like, man, I know how y'all feel about my wife, but we both lost 2 really good friends and da-da-da-da, and I'm like, and they made sure they put the camera on Steffi as she rolled her eyes. I'm like, girl, maybe if you wasn't so busy fooling around with Sheila, y'all probably could have caught Luna sooner.
Yep, exactly. I highly agree. But I thought it was a very nice gesture because they really didn't have to do that.
Right.
They invited him. And even Brooke acknowledged, like, hey, you had losses. Like, you lost people. She was more genuine about what happened with Deacon than she was about trying to play nice with Steffy.
Yeah, I agree.
But that was I absolutely loved the fact that he was a part of that. That was great for the writers to put him in that scene.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was cool. I'm trying to think, did we cover everything? Because well, the conversation between Steffi and her mom, Taylor, was about warning her to look out for Hope. And Steffi was like, I ain't worried about her. I got this.
I'm like, yeah, I actually believe that. I feel that. I think when Bridget comes onto the set, work closely with her husband, then she got something to worry about. Because I don't know about you guys, but that chemistry, when Bridget came on and they were trying to save Eric's life, that chemistry that Finn and Finn and Bridget had, the stares and them leaning on to each other, they had it. Steffi would have something to worry about with that pairing. So I'm here for that. So I don't know about you guys, but I am pro breakup Finn and Steffi at this point. I want to see Finn with somebody new, something fresh. I want to see him with Bridget. Like I said, that's just me. But did we talk about Ridge and Taylor?
Oh gosh, no. We gotta talk about Ridge and Taylor and that clip I posted on Instagram and TikTok.
I've never seen a man just so comfortable, just like rubbing on a woman's hips and kneecaps, and he has a whole other woman that he calls his Logan, his baby, his everything, whatever. But he's just all up on Taylor, caressing her knees, her hips, and then at the party, he kind of doing the same thing, and like his woman's in the party.
Yep. Everybody was talking about that.
I'm like, who is this comfortable? I'm like, no respect, no boundaries for the woman that he's with, the woman that he said that he chose. But as soon as another woman starts circling around him, as soon as Taylor came in, he was doing all the compliments, like, you're so beautiful, you're this, you're that. And the next few scenes we see them in, he is now all of a sudden like rubbing her back, rubbing around her kneecaps, pulling her in. They're breathing the air back and forth. Like, oh my gosh.
Girl, yeah, tell me about it. That I was like, Ridge, what you doing there, brother?
Yeah, I don't think any woman on this planet would be comfortable with their man just caressing and holding and rubbing the kneecaps of another woman.
Right. Exactly.
And so, he knows he's wrong.
I think I'm losing signal.
You losing signal?
Hold on, let me see. Anybody saying anything in the chat? Is it still going? Can you see? Because I'm getting a red bar.
Yeah, I'm getting this. Everyone's still talking. You guys can hear us still?
Can you guys hear us? Let me see. Say yes if you can hear us clearly.
Can you hear us? In the sound of our voice.
Let me see. I don't see anybody. So they just have their own. Let me see.
Oh, it stopped the chat.
It did.
Oh, actually, no, the live is back on. Okay, it came back on. Hey, guys, can you hear us?
Let me put a note in the chat. Hold on. They just talking. Hear us.
Yeah, everyone's having.
Or else they're behind, and they can hear. Oh, Vicky says no. Okay.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I think I don't know what's going on in my system. Hold on. Nope.
It went on and off on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, no
But it's
sound.
still showing live. She said it's on and off. Okay, it says I'm back. It says on and off. Sharon says yes.
Yeah, I think it's my. I don't know what's going on over here, cause.
Okay, they're saying yes, you can hear us.
Okay, you can hear us. Okay, cool. Well, we
Okay.
didn't you didn't miss too much of anything.